Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Ryan, Weeks Death Metal. Today my guest is John of the sick grindcore band No Mas. John, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, dude.
Hell yeah. Man, I've been on such a grindcore kick lately, and your all's band has been like on the steady rotation. Uh
Cool.
Such a huge fan. Um and you got a pretty cool setup. I've personally had some questions about it. I know you roll with two amps. Why don't you talk
Yeah.
about that? And is one just a backup, or do you run a split rig, or how do you? What's your setup amp wise here?
Oh, I run them stereo, so they're both on the same time. So I run um the well the Mesa Boogie triple rectifier. That's probably like my predominant sound. And then I have a Randall RG 300, which that amp is like it's like a reissue kind of the old RG 100s from like the 80s. Like the shit like Dimebag and Crowbar
Yeah.
used to use. Now I do have one of the old school RG 100s, and I have recorded with those before, but I don't like touring with them because it's such like a old amp, and old amps
Sure.
do not do well on tour. So the reissue RG 300, one, it's a little louder, and two, I can buy them for like $300.
Yeah.
So like if something happens to them, it's not that big of a deal.
Right on.
But I can get pretty close to the same sound out of that. Um, but yeah, so I use those two amps. I run a splitter, and I boost both of the amps with a metal zone.
Hell yeah. It's a great boost for
Um,
both of those amps.
Yeah. And the idea when I was going into it was, I know, like Cannibal Corpse used to use the
Hmm.
metal zones to boost the rectifiers,
Hmm.
and then Crowbar uses the metal zone to boost the Randall.
Right.
So I was trying to get like a cross between those two sounds, and that's kind of what I did. And somewhere I kind of found like my own thing.
Sure. Yeah. The two amps in stereo is an interesting blend. I can't off the top of my head, I can't think of too many other guys that have done similar, except for maybe like Jay Yinger back in White Zombie. I think he used to do kind
He
of like
he's my other influence.
hell yeah.
I mean, well, one of my favorite guitar tones ever is the Astros Creep 2000 record,
Nice. Yeah.
and his setup was a Mesa triple rectifier and Randall Century 200, which the Century is almost near impossible to find, but it's basically just
Right.
like a hot rodded RG 100 kind of. Um, but he used like a tube screamer for his boosts and everything, so. I mean, he's definitely like a big influence on why I started doing that as well.
Gotcha.
And then, just being the only guitar player in the band, like sometimes when you go see like a one guitar player band, like the guitars are kind of thin sounding. And
Mhm.
like I want the guitars to be massive like they should be.
Of course. Yeah, you got to do a little bit extra legwork when it's an awful lot of space to fill up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think the only thing you'd be missing is like those Randall cabs with like the classic Jaguar speakers, and then like a some Mesa V30s on the other side, and be full blown White Zombie.
Yeah. And I've played through those Randall cabs. I actually bought one a couple years back
Hmm.
and I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, they all were able to use those to me, they sounded like really brittle.
Mm.
So I mean, I use just all Mesa cabs, just but like the two oversized Mesa cabs with the V30s, and
Yeah,
and it just that works for me for what I do.
sure. Yeah, it must have been like a blend kind of thing back in the day, like just using them for top end or something like that. Maybe who knows? But
Yeah, I don't know what I mean because I know like Dimebag, he used those Jaguar cabs, and Uh, I don't know. I don't know how those guys made those cabs sound good, dude. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that that White Zombie sound is like predominantly the rectifier and the recto cab, and then like the Randall stuff is just kind of like blended in.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, I hear more rectifier than the Randall and the White Zombie tone.
sure.
Um, but it is there.
Yeah, I need to deep dive on like an Ulrich Wild kind of thing and figure out what all they did. Uh,
It's all over the internet. You can find pictures of
yeah,
the White Zombie guitar rig online, and it's pretty crazy looking, actually.
I
Like
think
way crazier looking than mine.
I if I remember, I think like on like the early days of me running the Riggs Death Metal page, um, I would share just random rig photos that I would find on like Google Image, and I think that might have been one of them. Maybe Dimes and I don't know, like Trey Azagtoth, like just random ones that you could come across. But
Yeah.
um,
But I like that. I like seeing that stuff because it like gives me ideas. Like
for sure.
I don't know, there's definitely things I've done with my rig that I haven't seen anybody else do. Um like just recently on the new album that's about to come out. Uh, that album sounds like my guitar tone live. The first two records, they both didn't come out right, and I was doing things differently, and I was listening to other people
Hmm.
recording us, and this time I just did my thing, and it sounds like me. But so basically, the new album has like a bunch of like harmonies on it, like kind of like Carcass,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, how am I going to do this live with only being one guitar player? So I ended up buying this cheap pitch shifter,
Hmm.
and I put it into the line of the second amp, and I turned the drive signal all the way off. So when I hit that pitch signal, the pitch shifter, it basically puts just that side into any interval that I set it at, and it
Okay.
sounds like natural harmonies.
Hmm.
Um, so that's been a really big hit at the shows. Every time I do that, everyone's like, "How are you doing that? like, what's going on?" Um,
That's
and
pretty sick.
even
Yeah.
like I know like the Brenner, the guitar player of Brat, he saw me do it, and then he went right out and did the same thing because he runs two amps too.
Yeah. So
Um,
which pitch shifter is it?
oh man, I bought it on Amazon for like $50, only because I didn't want to waste a bunch of money and buy like an expensive pitch shifter and have this not work. So
Right.
it was like a $50 like a I think it's a Donner. I think it was yeah, it's like on
Yeah.
Amazon, a Donner pitch shifter.
Wow. Okay.
That's so, so yeah, I have that coming out of my splitter. It that goes the coming out of the splitter is side B because I call
Hmm.
them side A, side B. Side B goes right into the pitch shifter, and then right into the Randall, and so the Randall's the one that gets shifted up. And
Gotcha.
so I have it set at thirds right now, but that's not an intelligent pitch shifter, so I got to buy another one. I got to buy like one of the better pitch shifters because I have harmonies on the new album that I need to do that this one can't do.
Right.
So
Which what splitter are you using?
I used the orange detonator.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, that was just when I first started doing the two amp thing, it was the most aggravating shit that I've ever been through in my life. I started with the TC Electronic Mimic,
Hmm.
and it sounded weird. Like it just didn't sound good. Um, and there's so much noise, constant
Mm.
noise. I used the Hum X things. I would use Hum Eliminators. Uh, you know, ground loop shifts on the back of the amps and stuff. Nothing would work.
Hmm.
And then yeah, well, I got that orange after like 2 years of like dealing with all of this, and that just cleared it right up.
Wow. Okay.
Um, and I had noticed with a lot of older splitters that like one side would be quieter than the others for some reason. And that was driving me insane. Like I couldn't figure out why one was just quieter.
Right.
But yeah, the orange pedal, everything is like perfect. Um, and then that when I got that pedal was when everything started to like fall into place for me.
Fuck yeah. I I need to purchase another splitter. Um, I kind of got down the rabbit hole of modelers and stuff, and I sold off the one that I had. It wasn't a great one. It was like the Electro Harmonics one, like little passive one. Um, I think like those and like those old like what's it, whirlwinds, all of those are prone to be pretty freaking noisy, like what you were talking about.
Oh yeah, the whirlwind is where I started,
Yeah.
and then I ended up with one of those radials.
Hmm.
Um, and that was not I that didn't. I mean, I've seen it work for other people, but it didn't work for me. For what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Um, and then I had what was that thing called? I forget what it was. I bought this other really expensive, fancy looking one, and it was a piece of junk. And and then the orange one was the one that did it. So I don't know. And that one's pretty cheap, man. I would look into that one.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll keep that one in mind. Um, I would kind of for something I'm working on. I kind of wanted to do the split guitar and bass rig sort of thing, and running like an octaver on the one side. You know, there's a handful of people out there that do that shit. Works pretty well.
Oh
But
yeah, we just toured with Wormrot. He does that.
did they do that? I didn't know. Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Last
it
band
was.
the last two bands I saw that pull that off live was like Sangasuka Bog and Antichrist Siege Machine. I know both of those guys do it, and it sounds pretty killer. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk let's talk guitars for a second. I've seen you were playing mostly Jacksons, but then like over the past year I've seen you with more like Ibanez stuff, including that really sick kind of like custom one off, project guitar that you put together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Are you completely in like the Ibanez park ballpark now?
Um, Not so much. When I first started the band, I was using Gibsons.
Okay.
I had a SG Standard and a Les Paul Custom. And, after we would play a show, like the tunematic bridges, they would cut my hands up really bad
Sure.
just because we would be like, we would play so hard back in the day. And, all like the top of the saddles they would just like cut
Yeah.
through my hand. And I was just like, yeah, man, I can't do this every night. Like it looks cool and everything, but this is starting to hurt. So I ended up I had this old Jackson, and so it had like a Floyd Rose on it. I blocked the bridge off and I started using that, and I ended up just really liking it a lot. And I used that one, and then I ended up getting that orange soloist that I've had for a long time. And I ended up getting a Jackson endorsement when our last album came out. And to be completely honest, I was really disappointed at some of the guitars I was getting, like some of their newer, like I don't know what happened to quality control
Mm,
because just 10 years ago they were pretty good.
right.
But I was getting guitars sent to me with like unlevel frets, and they would feel weird and cheap.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to talk too bad or whatever, but
Sure.
I basically I was just like, I, I, I- I'm just gonna play whatever feels good to me
Yeah.
because, like, I don't really care about, like endorsements and stuff like that. I mean, it's cool getting free guitars here and there, but like, if it's something that I'm not gonna play, then what's the point? I mean, they
Right.
would send me guitars, and I would play it like in a video or I would have it as a backup, but then I would be using one of my guitars that were, made in the 90s or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it felt a little disingenuous. Um, I just didn't really like that. Like there was this one time we played in somewhere in the Midwest. I can't remember. It was a few years ago, and this kid comes up to me. His band was opening. He's like, "Hey, look, I bought a Jackson just like you." And I was just like, "Oh, that's cool, man." And he was just like, "Yeah, I can't get it to stay in tune."
Hmm.
And I was just like, well, "Here, let me look at it." Because I felt bad. And it was the same thing. It was like the neck was like really messed up. The frets were unlevel. I did the best I could to like kind of set it up for him, but I don't know, that kind of got to me. I was just like, so this kid liked the band and went and bought Jackson's, and he ended up buying a piece of shit. I
Yeah.
didn't feel good about that. So so yeah, I ended up we were on tour with like Zoom, and I ended up buying a red RG 550 Ibanez off of some tweaker in the parking lot of a Bob Evans in Ohio. True story. This some tweaker sold me a red RG 550. And I was like, oh, all right, this is cool. And we were supposed to be leaving for Japan like 3 days after that.
Yeah.
And I ended up liking the guitar so much that I came home, got it set up completely, and then I took that overseas with me. And so that's the guitar I've been playing, well, up until this new one. But like after the Worm Rot tour, it was like, okay, this guitar is getting retired. And then I made that 7 string custom, which that was pretty easy, honestly. I had always liked the Meshuggah, the Frederick Thorndahl custom 7 string.
Right.
And I would always see him playing, and I'm like, damn, that's what I want, just a one humbucker 7 string. And so yeah, I ended up getting a hold of a 7 string that was like really trashed, and so I just bought it for the parts and the neck. The neck was really good on it. And yeah, I paid like a few $100 for it off Facebook Marketplace.
Hmm.
And then at the Five Alarm Guitar guy, I hit him up and I was just like, "Hey, I want an Ibanez Universe body, one humbucker." I had him make it out of alder instead of basswood,
Hmm.
and just I got the cavities cut to my specifications and everything, and so yeah, he sent it within like 2 weeks. I think I paid like $200 for it, and yeah, I dyed the body black, put a layer of clear on it, put it together, and it rips. I'm gonna do this next tour with it.
Fuck yeah. It's such a cool guitar. It's the body did you say it was 5 alarm guitars?
I think that's his website. Yeah,
Okay. I remember I think we chatted about it and
I
like
remember I sent you the link.
that's right. Okay. Yeah. Such a cool website. It's like 90% all like Ibanez models, but even like cool like obscure ones like the Red Beach models from like the 90s or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and he can do the skull neck bodies,
Skullnet. What is it?
the skull neck, the Alex skull neck. It was like a rare
Oh yeah,
signature.
the
It has
P
like the two long horns on it.
yeah, it's like P1 or P2, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are sick. I was I looked at those too.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say I'm like firmly an Ibanez guy. Just like I'm just gonna play whatever it is that I like,
yeah.
and I could come across a 90s Jackson tomorrow, and then I'm like, I'm gonna play this, and or it could be another Ibanez. It could be, I don't know. I've been looking at ever since Floyd Rose has just put out they put out bridges that you can put on like a Gibson Tune-o-matic.
Hmm.
It kind of like snaps into place. So I've been looking at that again about maybe getting another SG because I love SGs.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. It's like the FRX or something maybe,
I
like a
th I
top
think
mount.
so. Yeah, and it slides like right on there.
Yeah.
and I
Okay.
was like, that's kind of cool. So
Right.
I might try that out. But yeah, it's I have no brand loyalty.
Sure. Uh,
Except maybe Mesa Boogie. I don't know. There so much of my rig consists of like all Mesa stuff, so I don't know that I could sound the way I do without it.
it, it's hard to find something that does what a Mesa does.
Oh
Um,
yeah, there's nothing like it.
yeah. The closest could maybe be like Soldano or Engel, but they still have their own very distinct, kind of style. Like Engels are way more compressed and Soldanos are, different mid range. Like, yeah, you can get close, but
Dude, and those are the two things that I struggle with like other amps is like I use mid range in my guitar tone, but
Mhm.
I don't turn it all the way up. Like I like that chunk that I get, from
Sure.
I wouldn't even say that I scoop my sound because I definitely use a lot of mid, but whatever certain amps, it's like their mid frequencies is so harsh, like the 5150.
Right.
And I used to use those, but like the way that the mid range is in those amps, it's like no matter what, I can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
Like there's a and Engel is the same way. They're great amps, but I can't get past that weird mid range sound. But then also like the overly compressed stuff that's the one thing that I like about the metal zone is because that doesn't compress the sound.
Hmm.
It boosts it without compressing it, so you still get that chunky low end.
Gotcha.
Um, and that's these are things like I don't know, even like 10 years ago, I was like I liked my guitar sound compressed. I like playing with a lot of gain. And now I play with relatively low gain. And I like it to be as uh, least compressed as possible.
Yeah.
Um, I'm very particular about that. Uh,
What going back to the guitars for a second, what pickups are in the like custom guitar that you put together? Or what's the pickup?
it's a Duncan distortion,
Hell yeah.
which has been that's been the main pickup that I've used pretty much through the whole time in No Mas, except the first album, the guitar I recorded it with had EMGs in it,
Okay.
and
Um,
then yeah,
sorry.
I wasn't happy with them, and then I ended up stumbling into the Duncan distortion, and then that's all I've used.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I the Duncan distortion and the JB, like that output range, like 15, 17K, whatever, like to me that's always kind of like the sweet spot. Um,
yeah.
like as long as like there's tons of different flavors, but as long as it's around there, like anything more than that, like I've played like a DiMarzio X2N and like really crazy high output stuff, and
Oh yeah.
it's just
That's too much.
yeah. But if it gets much lower gain than that, I feel like it's just too weak of a signal. Like I don't know, it just doesn't feel right if it's any weaker.
Yeah,
So
dude. I mean, I used the Duncan distortion, a metal zone for a boost, and a rectifier. So I have tons of gain on tap, and
sure.
I like having that option. And I've noticed that using like really high gain stuff like that, but pulling the gain back is kind of where I get that sweet spot. Like my pickups are a lot lower on the guitar
Hmm.
than most people's would be. Most people have them, kind of mid or high, but mine are
Yeah.
like down near the body. Um,
Gotcha.
and that's one of the things that helps me get the sound that I go for.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We don't have too dissimilar of ideas when it comes to like gain staging and all that.
Yeah.
Um, string. I always forget this, and people give me flack for it. String gauge and tuning and picks.
Well, B standard is what we've been in. Uh, and this the new album coming out is going to be our first record that's in B standard because the last two were in I think D standard. So we had started tuning down even before we started writing this record because it was I don't know it it just wasn't it just wasn't as heavy. You know, we were like we would have like all these thrash riffs and everything, but it wasn't translating well live. And then I had and it didn't make any sense. Like I'm chasing like these guitar tones that were all like tuned in B, you know. So I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, why am I? Yeah, I'm like I'm playing in D, and I'm chasing Crowbar and Cannibal Corpse, like you know, or
Right.
and even Fear Factory, like. So I you know tuned down all of the songs ended up sounding way better. And like we didn't tell anyone. We played a couple shows, and everyone's like, "You guys sound way better than usual." And I was like, "Okay, well." But yeah, so the new album it's B standard. I don't know what the gauges are because I'm still messing with those for the seven string because this is the first time I've used the seven string. But I was using the Ernie Ball Beefy Slinkies,
Gotcha.
and we are endorsed by Ernie Ball, so that helps a lot.
Nice.
Um, and then picks, I just use these guys right here. It's the Dunlop 1 millimeter, like it has like the grips on it.
Yeah. The
I've
nylon.
been using these for like 20 years.
Those the nylons. I couldn't
Yep.
tell.
It's
Okay.
the the USA nylon 1 millimeter.
Okay. Hell yeah. Um.
Um
hmm,
yeah, I mean no, I've been using those for since I was a kid.
right on. Uh. Switching gear from gear over to songwriting. Uh. What were some of your earlier influences that first got you into playing guitar, and then who were like the kind of the catalyst getting you into the kind of music that you play now?
Um well, Metallica and Slayer were like the two in the beginning because my dad he's way into metal growing up, so I ended up hearing Metallica and Slayer at an extremely young age, and I really liked that. And like it was just all metal all the time, hair metal, thrash metal, and it's all I listened to from when I was like 5 years old until it was right around when I was a teenager in high school. I got into Nirvana, and then that really got me into a whole nother world of music. That led me into like punk and hardcore and just noise rock and just that more artsy side of music. Um, so yeah, I would say it was like a cross between those three bands that kind of really got me going.
Oh yeah. And then as far as kind of transitioning into like real extreme stuff, who would you say, you know, uh, a lot of people use the term like influence as like who they kind of rip off of. So not that, but as far as like grindcore and more extreme kind of stuff, um, who would you say were at least like inspirations for you to kind of get into that specific style? And like, I want to do my take on this because of these bands.
Well, interesting enough, I grindcore to me when I was growing up was Napalm Death and
Sure.
Repulsion, Terrorizer, like the OG stuff.
Right.
I got into that because, I would watch Headbangers Ball back in the day and I saw Morbid Angel on there. I saw Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, so I kind of got into those early Florida death metal bands. And then I just found some of the grindcore or, Napalm Death, obviously. And hearing death metal and then hearing uh, Terrorizer, World Downfall, and Napalm Death. I really liked Napalm Death. Um, and when I first heard them, I thought they were a death metal band because I heard Harmony Corruption.
it
And I mean, that's still my favorite era of the band, Harmony
is
Corruption and Utopia Banished.
it is a great period for that band for sure.
I mean, so I always thought that was grindcore.
Sure.
Um, but people nowadays will say that that's death metal or that that's death grind or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't. I'm not really that influenced by 95% of grindcore. It's just I don't know. I like what I hear, but it's just not that's not what does it for me. Napalm Death was probably one of the bands when we started No Mas. They were kind of important, but when we started No Mas, we didn't think that it was going to be grindcore. We still don't. Um, we started the band as like a hardcore punk band, and then our drummer was from a death metal band, so he would add in blast beats, and then I would be like, "Oh, that kind of sounds like Napalm Death," and then so I would add in like one of the like chunky Napalm type riffs, and
Yeah.
it just kind of evolved into what it is. Um, but yeah, Napalm Death, Sepultura, Slayer is always in there. Um, you know, I would say those three, man. I mean, there is more for sure. Like recently, it was bringing in a lot of like some Crowbar influence.
Hmm.
Um, but in that and that's on the new album. You can hear it a little bit. Um, and then we do like some syncopated stuff, kind of like early Fear Factory on the new record. But it doesn't sound like that band at all. It's just
Right.
like that type of thing. So we're always kind of pulling from different areas. We don't like making the same record over and over again. Every one of them is different. Um,
Honestly, I love that approach. Um, I think a lot of guys will get kind of hung up on like subgenre specific tropes. Like they'll have a cool riff, like, well, yeah, but it's not very, it's too death metal. It's not punk enough, so it can't fit into this grindcore song kind of thing. Or, you know, they think just because like, oh, we're a blah blah band, so we can't use this kind of riff or this kind of beat or whatever.
yep.
And I kind of like where I like bands that aren't afraid to like they might be generally a specific style, but they're not afraid to pull across the aisle to grab different styles of riffs and kind of make their own unique. That's how you make anything unique this day and age. Like you have to kind of blend different styles together.
Yeah, there's in the last I don't know. There's more like genre uh Puritan bullshit going on now than there has been like, when I was a teenager in the 90s, it wasn't like that. I mean, I didn't live in a city, so I wasn't able to go see Deicide and Morbid Angel, because it was too far away. I was too young.
Yeah,
But in my town, they would put on hardcore shows all the time. So that's how I would be able to go see heavy music.
sure,
And
same.
like people back then, I mean, I got into Dying Fetus that way because they're from here, but they would play like hardcore shows back then,
So sick.
and and like I don't know, like I just never seen. I don't see what the difference is. Like what everyone they bitch and complain, and it's like dude, it's all heavy music, man, and it all borrows from each other. As
Hmm.
much as a lot of the people don't want to admit it, a lot of their favorite metal bands are influenced by hardcore bands, and vice versa.
Yeah,
And yeah, like I mean just in general, like if I got to the point where I was in a band where everybody was just like, well, no, we can't do this because we're not going to be grindcore enough, I would quit. Because that to me that is so fucking boring.
yeah,
And I'm not going to name names, but there is a lot of bands that come out, and when I hear it, I'm just like, dude, like this is the same thing over and over. There's a million things that sound like this right now. There's absolutely nothing about this that's different, and it just I don't know, like that doesn't excite me. Like
yeah.
I mean
Absolutely
that's
agreed.
People can say you can say whatever you want about No Mas, but I think that we definitely have like our own sound, and we are able to stand out in a genre that is filled by a lot of clones.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
so, and that approach is because we all listen to different stuff, and we aren't afraid to. I mean, our vocalist pulls a lot of influence from rap on his vocals because he listens to more rap than he listens to metal, and so that's his influence. And our drummer, he's into a lot of different shit that isn't metal, and it all blend. Like even if I write a song, and those guys come in, they add their thing to it, it's gonna change it up. Um,
Oh,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
I think more bands should do that, and music would be a lot more interesting.
You said something that I found interesting about how you would write something, bring it to the band, and after their influence, it turns into a completely different idea than what you originally had.
Hmm.
I always love when that happens. It's usually a completely different drum beat than what I would have pictured, and all of a sudden the feel is completely different
Yeah.
for the better. Is there a particular riff that you can think of in your all's catalog that was kind of the case, like that they brought something different and it worked out better in the end?
Um. Oh man, I wish the new album was out because that's what's like fresh in my mind right now
Sure, fair enough.
with sort of things like that. Like there's definitely songs vocal wise, and it
Mm-hmm.
happens a lot vocally. Like I'll write a song. I usually write a song with like superior drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll bring it to them and show it to them. And they get the vibe. A lot of the times, our drummer, he'll use uh the beats that I choose are something very close to it, and then he adds in like different fills and
Sure.
stuff like that, which still completely changes it up. But the vocalist, I mean, it's every single time he does something that I would never even think of, and it always makes it really catchy. I can't really name a specific song, but uh, God, I'm trying to think of one of the old ones.
Yeah, it's all good. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Dude, I'm the worst at like recall on the spot. Like an hour from now, I'll be like, oh man, why didn't I say this?
Sure. Hey, after a while, you forget which riffs you wrote versus the other members, and it happens. It's
Well, luckily, I still remember almost all of our shit.
that's more than I can say. I forget stuff almost the next day after I wrote it.
I'm definitely the one in the band where like if we go to play an old song, I'm able to like bring it up like that.
Nice.
Um, but yeah.
Um, something else kind of curious where you have a pretty big wall of sound. Um, is there ever did it take any kind of trial and error dialing in between you and the bass player? Because you're laughing, so I think you're already on the same page.
It's
Because
it's 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 still a struggle.
sure, I would say because it's justified because like for a single guitar player band to try to make a bigger sound, but that can also be tricky whenever you still have a bass player to try to find everybody's spot, you know?
Well, the thing is the first off, this is guitar driven music. So,
Sure.
you know, like the guitar has to be like massive. So the bass, and a lot of my guitar tone influences comes from a lot of the 90s records
Hmm.
where the guitars are super massive and chunky. And if you listen to the bass tone on those albums, they're not there's not a lot of like low end in the bass tone itself. Like
Yeah.
you listen to like a lot of like thrash bands, and the bass has like a more there's like more low mids in it, and so it sits in a different space than like other bass would sit, and sometimes it's kind of tricky trying to explain that
Hmm.
to to bass players, but I mean the guy we got now, he works with it because he also grew up in the '90s, so he kind of gets it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we definitely sound better live now than we ever have, but it's still like a constant. You know, he lives in New Jersey, so we don't get to like rehearse all the time. You know, it's he's coming down in a couple days to rehearse for this next tour, but there's always like every night on stage, we're always trying different stuff to just get that perfect blend.
Just tell them you want the Justice for All bass tone.
I mean, you know,
uh yeah, no, it's I've been over the years I've been teaching myself mixing, and the you're always learning things, obviously. The steepest learning curve has been dialing in bass, like
yeah,
110%. First, it was trying to balance it with the kick drum. Then it's just finding its space, like what frequencies to try to dial out,
yep.
so you don't have like too much buildup amongst all the instruments in the specific frequency. And it's a lot tougher than people imagine. Live, you can get away with a bit more. Um, get a bit more rumble and everything, and kind of just go for the typical. You can go for the typical scooped bass tone where it's all subs and clanky high end or whatever.
See that right there, for the last 20 years, that type of bass tone, it's become like, oh no, this is how the bass is supposed to sound. And then
Yeah,
people, are like, guitars with all mid range and no low end. It's like this is how guitars are supposed to sound. It's like, well, no, it's not supposed to sound like anything. It's like, there is no right or wrong way to make any of this sound.
yeah,
It all depends on what you want and
sure,
what we like we all like 90s sounding records like White Zombie. If you listen to the bass in White Zombie, especially like Astro Creep, there's not a ton of low end in that bass tone. It's kind of adding like it's on top of the mix, and
yeah,
it's adding a different dimension to the sound than a bass normally would.
yeah.
Same with Pantera, like
Mhm.
if you really listen to the mix of like those '90s records, like it just I don't know the way that the bass is. I think it's cool as shit,
Sure.
but that's it's like a lost art nowadays. So it's kind of hard to like that's. I mean, that's our record is delayed right now because we couldn't get a mix that we were satisfied with, and so
Mhm.
now Mark Lewis is mixing and mastering the record. So it's taking a little longer, but yeah,
Jeez.
that's where we had to go to get this album where it needs to be.
Well, if he can't do it, I don't think anybody could.
Right. Yeah. No, he knows. I mean, he knows exactly. Come to find out, he's from like the same area we are, and he knew who
Okay.
we were, so he was like stoked to do it. But he knows exactly what we're going for.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool. And it's worth the wait because now it's like, okay, this record's gonna sound fucking awesome.
absolutely. Man, as we're talking, I'm just running through sick bass tones over the years. I'm a fan of like the I know it's almost like a joke, but I'm a big fan of like the Mortician bass tone where it's just distorted
Oh
as
yeah.
hell, you know?
And well, that's like the Repulsion horrified bass tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I mean, I like that stuff too for what it is.
Sure. It's a vibe.
I mean, like I would never go for that production for our band, but I can listen to that
Right.
stuff and enjoy it.
It's a
Um,
specific thing for sure.
yeah, I mean, if we're sitting around like drinking some beers and it's like, oh, let's write a Mortician song or something like that, and we do it like that would be fun, and I would still listen to it. It's just, yeah, I mean,
Right.
I think there's a place for everything, and I like. I don't really hate too much on a lot of stuff, but I just I can appreciate a lot of different things, even if it's not my thing.
Sure. You know who a couple bass players I always thought had like probably the best bass tone. It's not over distorted or anything.
Mm.
Is Alex Webster
Oh yeah.
and Troy Ofdahl, um, the the former bass player for Cattle Decapitation.
Oh yeah. I'm not. I never really got that much into cattle, so I'm not as familiar. But I'm
Sure.
definitely familiar with Alex Webster.
Troy's got a similar. I think it's. I in my mind, I'm attributing it a lot to them playing Aguilar amps. You know, just that real
Hmm.
kind of grindy sort of. Well, Alex isn't that grindy, but very mid, like plenty of mids for sure.
Well, and that's because, especially the first four Cannibal Corpse records, the guitars are so scooped
Yeah,
that he had to do that to be heard. And
sure.
that's where that type of bass player was kind of born, was from, him like trying to, because if the bass is scooped and then the guitars are that scooped, you like there's no point for
Yeah,
them to even be there. But yeah,
exactly.
like when you listen to like Tomb of the Mutilated,
Hmm.
when he kicks into that that solo bass part on Hammer Smash Face, like there's a lot of mid range in that bass tone. Like the mid range on that album is coming from the bass, not the guitars.
Yeah,
And I like that. I think it sounds cool.
absolutely. It's very distinct, a hundred
Yeah.
percent. Um, when bass players get like memorable highlight parts in songs, like it's a rarity, especially in extreme music, but it's so fucking cool.
Well, you know what I'll say about bass players.
Hmm.
A lot of them, they won't set their bass tones like that because they're afraid of actually being heard. Because most of them are playing the shit wrong.
I've known a few.
Yeah, every one of them, man. Every single person that's ever been in Nomos has never played it perfect.
Put them all on blast.
Hey, man, they already know. They already know.
Fuck yeah. Um, what is well, you might have answered this earlier when we were talking about pitch shifters, but what is some gear that you're looking for as like a problem solver kind of thing? It doesn't necessarily have to be like a cool new guitar, something like practical that would make live shows or recording easier on you.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I want to get a quad cortex and mess around with that.
Hell yeah.
Um, because I mean, look, I'm not gonna hate. I'm not hating on the digital stuff. I know people are going that way, and I mean, shit, Crowbar, he's using a quad cortex right now, and it still sounds just as great as his Randalls.
Right.
But like with that, I can run the two preamps out of it. It has all the pitch shifting stuff I need in it. It has, all the pedals that I use basically are in that. And it's like I could eliminate pretty much everything on my board with
Yeah.
just that and then run, the two preamps out into just like a small like power amp, then
Right.
to two cabs, like I want to try it, but unfortunately, $1,800 to
Yeah.
just fuck around with something, I don't have a spare $1,800 to go do that.
Sure.
But I do want to check that out. I mean, if anything, for when we finally start playing overseas again, it might help
Hmm.
because man, when we do fly-in dates, man, it's like my worst nightmare all the time.
Mm.
Because my gear and what I do is so specific. For instance, we flew down to Mexico City and we did a bunch of central Mexico shows,
Yeah.
and it was some of the gear that I had to use. I had to dig real deep to try and get this stuff. Like one night, I had to use a Boss Katana amp.
Okay.
um, Over in Japan, it was all Marshall stuff, which was fine. Um, I was able to work with it, but like it was like a Marshall Mode 4 for the first couple nights, which
Mm.
actually ended up sounding really good. Um, if you use the first channel, not the red channel.
Yeah.
We,
I've heard a couple people talk about those. I actually have a behind me a Marshall Mode 4 cab, like the 400 water.
oh yeah, I haven't heard the cab.
Oh, the
That
cabs are fucking amazing, dude.
really?
Um, they're I mean Slayer used them live a shit ton. They would go
Oh,
between these or the 1960 cabs.
oh, okay.
Not the heads though, just the cabs.
I
Um,
remember there was a while Hatebreed was using the Mode 4 heads,
really? Okay.
and I didn't care. I remember seeing them live when they were using it. I didn't like it, but
Mm,
when I was in Japan and I had to use that head, the sound guy, he didn't speak English. I didn't understand what he said. Like I initially, you just go for the high gain channel, and he
mhm.
comes up and he's like, and he puts it on it's like the first channel, like the crunch channel,
Yeah.
and then he was like pointing at it for me to like dial it in, and I did, and I was like, oh wow, like this sounds really fucking good.
Hmm.
So
I'm guessing it must have been some sort of house amp and he already knew it or something, maybe.
yeah, that was the one cool thing about over there is like a lot of the venues they just had like they had gear there.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, like I said, it was all Marshall stuff, but I still managed to sound decent every night. But it was, it was kind of a struggle getting a JCM 900 to do what I do,
Hmm.
you
Right.
know. Um, but but it worked. I had the metal zone, and boosting anything with that, it does that thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
You ever well, I know it's have like you considered like different fly rig pieces like you're talking about the quad cortex, they got the nano cortex now, at least for like something you could run into an effects loop and be like, all right, there I am.
yeah,
Even an EQ pedal.
our bassist set me the Nano Cortex, and the thing is if I'm gonna go digital, I want it to do like that. The Nano doesn't. I can't run two preamps out of it.
Hmm. Right.
Like the quad cortex, I can run the two different preamps with all the pitch shifting stuff I need,
For
and
sure.
um, so I did look at that. I did consider it, but I was just like, if I'm gonna go that route, I'm gonna do it the right way.
Yeah.
Um, but probably before the end of the year, I'll end up getting one, and I'll probably play around with it. Um, who knows? Maybe that'll end up working its way into the rig. Maybe not.
The just out of curiosity, because I've got a mix of everything, like tube as well as I got a Kemper player on my desk in front of me here, and I got a tube head behind me. So I like everything.
It
But
is. I do too, honestly.
yeah, but like just out of curiosity, have you checked out the any of the Helix stuff? Because some of that, like the Stomps and like the Helix LT, a lot of that stuff, the on the used market, starting to get pretty affordable, like 300 to 500 bucks.
I haven't checked out any of the Helix stuff. I know a friend of mine. He recently just got a quad Cortex, and he was using a Helix, and he was just like, "I'm never going back to that." After using the quad cortex. But I mean, I've
Yeah,
heard I've heard good stuff about the Helix too.
yeah, they I was into those products and then switched over to the Kemper stuff and uh the modeled amps versus like profiles or captures or whatever you want to call them. It is a difference for sure.
Yeah,
When you're running them through a real cab in the room, the differences are they become a little bit more negligible. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Uh,
yeah. I mean, that's all the digital stuff. I think when you actually run it through a cab,
yeah,
it's pretty fucking good.
for sure.
I mean, when you're on stage and you're playing like loud and everything like that, the little nuances that it lacks are a lot. It's a lot less in a whole band mix, I think, and I
Hmm.
think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people have gone that route because it is easier.
Right.
Um, but I don't- I've been worried because like my guitar, like I was telling you, like our records, you can't really hear the way my guitar sounds now. Um, and so, but like for the last like 2 years, it's been like a very it's been a thing where like people are coming up like they love my guitar tone, like they're always asking how to get it, and so I'm like been kind of worried about like bringing something else like that in, is like, is it gonna lose that appeal? I don't know. Um, but I don't think so. I mean, I think that it can be done. I don't know. I'm
Oh
I'm babbling.
no, no, not at all. Uh, I think you could get a close enough approximation, especially if you're running, if you're still running stereo live. And me personally, I could never do without stage volumes. I would have to have cabs
Oh
still.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
uh, I think it'd be a close enough approximation in a live setting to where I don't think anybody could really notice, especially if you did something like a Cortex and you actually captured your amps.
That's what
Um,
I want to do, and I can
mhm.
capture it with the Metal Zone boosts in it. And then what I was gonna do is get one of those. They're kind of rare. The Mesa Boogie. It's like the rectifier preamps, and
Yeah.
it's like a stereo 100
Hmm.
or power amp. Sorry,
Oh yeah.
and then just bring just that, and then that's powering my cabs off the Cortex. So I still have the tube power on
Oh
both
yeah.
sides. And that's kind of in my head like what I think might work.
Hmm.
But again, it's like finding one of those used $1,000,
Yeah.
and then the quad cortex 1800. So it's like we're talking about almost a $3,000 experiment here.
Yeah. Yeah. I uh I was in that same boat for a minute because I had people are gonna hate me for this. I had a '90s two channel dual rec. It was a revision F. I ended up finding out like right before, like shortly before I got rid of it.
Man, I don't like where this is going.
Yeah. I so that was my main amp for like 10 to 11 years, maybe longer, long time with the same rig. And I was just like, I want to mess with something else.
I
And I
know,
ended
I
up,
know the feeling.
I ended up selling it off, which for quite a bit more than what I paid for it back in the day, mind you. But I ended up selling it off, and I got the powered Kemper rack, and
Yeah.
honestly, running it through my cab, and I still had my pedals and everything. I just treated it like an amp. Found a company that does really good profiles. My buddy Chris at Amp Guru.
Mhm.
Um, the way the way he captures them, I haven't found anybody else that does it as well. But dude, I know honestly, the only thing I missed was the novelty of it. The sound and feel for me in the room with a cab. It was there.
Wow.
I laughed the first time I was playing through it. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Dude, yeah, the powered Kemper was something I had been looking at for a long time. Just for the,
sure.
what I was gonna do was just replace the Randall in my
Mm-hmm.
rig with the powered Kemper. And then and then I started figuring out stuff about the Cortex, and I was like, well, that would replace everything I needed.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, no, the Kemper, I have played one of those. It was in a used music store here, and I saw it here, and I was like, huh. And I was just so curious, I was like, I
Yeah.
want to hear it, and yeah, it sounded pretty fucking good.
The one thing I'll say, little bit of a knock on it, is the low end is very specific. The way it captures low end of an amp is it's not 100% accurate to the real thing. Like, a rectifier has a very specific low end to it. The Kemper is not 100% there, but I'm usually going for a little bit of a tighter tone anyway, and kind of starve the low end, so it's fine. That said, I kind of missed having something tube around, so sold that Kemper. I got the Kemper player and an Engel preamp, like the rack preamp, and I got a crate Blue Voodoo up there too. So
Oh,
I,
cool. No, those are cool too.
it's dope. It's like a 900, but like way more low end.
Yeah, yeah. No, I am a Crate fan. One of my first like real amps was the GX 130C in the 90s.
Those are cool.
Yeah,
Those are
and
cool as shit.
I like those a lot. Um,
It's
But
hilarious what they go for used now.
I actually had one recently. A couple years ago, I sold it to my friend's band.
Hmm.
Um, it was just I used it at like a Noma. I used it at a Noma show. I used that and a 5150, and it was like one of the early when I was first messing with two amps, and it just
Hmm.
was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't it didn't do what I wanted. But yeah, I just sold one, but yeah, I actually got into an argument on reverb.com because some guy wanted $2,000 for one. And like
For the
I was like,
crate
dude,
or
for the crate.
Jesus.
And I was just like, I can't keep my mouth shut on this. I messaged the guy. I was like, you're a fucking asshole. Like seriously. I was like, this thing is put together with the cheapest parts pod. Like, stop. And he
That's
was like, I'm an
insane.
entrepreneur. And I'm like, you're an asshole, is what you are. Like,
Anyone that refers to himself as an entrepreneur, whether
yeah,
you actually in fact are or not, you can go fuck yourself.
yeah. It's I was the whole used gear market right now is just filled with so many assholes and like all of this stuff like like people are asking like crazy prices for shit and I'm like you're never gonna get this
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Like I felt kind of bad for what I sold that Mesa for, but I was still the cheapest on the market at that time. Like you can look at other listings on Reverb at that time. I was still like several $100s cheaper than anybody else.
well dude you know like a few years ago I had one of the two channel rectifiers
Hmm.
and I was very stupid and I got rid of that one and it was like I had to pay rent it was you know
Yeah.
and so yeah I had the three channel rectifier still and then I had a two channel. And I was like, well, the two channel is gonna get me more, and I can get the same sound that I want out of both of them. So I was very stupid, but I mean, I got like 1,500 for it, which
Right on.
it is what it is. We used to be able to buy them for like $800 in the
Yeah.
'90s. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's those days are long gone, sadly. And I miss having the recto. Um and it's a pure nostalgia thing. It's not like I don't have a million freaking options that
yeah,
get great tones. It's just I miss having that shiny diamond plate looking, you know.
you know that's the other thing. They are the coolest looking amp. It's like
No doubt.
it's like you roll into you roll into town with that, and people are like, "Oh, that's a serious dude right there." You know what I mean? Like he means business.
That that said, doesn't the old PV triple X almost look like a great value dual
Um,
rectifier?
that's exactly what they were going for too.
Yeah. That's like I've seen so many people take off the original like front panel or whatever and like replace it with literally anything else, like
Yeah,
wood, plexiglass, whatever they could, just anything other than like the little trucker girl decal things on the front.
yeah, it's yeah. I played one of those amps before. It wasn't my thing, but I mean, I know Gary Holt used them and made them sound good.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of those James Brown design PVs, like they're all cool, but they all kind of do the roughly the same thing, you know?
Yeah,
Like post the 5150, they all like the ultras, the triple X, they're all the gain structure is pretty similar on all of them.
I had an Ultra when like about 25 years ago. I had one in an old band. I had fun with it.
They're cool.
Actually, funny enough, when we were in Japan, one of the cities we played in, there was an Ultra, and that's what I had to use.
Fuck yeah.
And I didn't like it as much as I liked it back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I think you know it is. I'm so used to like Mesa Boogie, and and
Yeah.
and somehow like using the Marshall stuff, I was able to get closer to the Mesa Boogie sound
Hmm.
than when I have used PV stuff, which
Interesting.
is which is crazy to me. But I can get the things that I want out of a guitar tone out of a Marshall and a Mesa, but not PV.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, I know. Like every time I tell someone that, they're like, "What? Are you serious?" Like, yeah, dude. Like,
I've always had an affinity for those like Marshall Mesa kind of stuff too. Those are like my first two tube amps, you know. But I think it's a lot of it is our proclivity for '90s album tones too. It
Uh-huh. Well,
could very well be.
I think so too because, like the PV stuff wasn't as prominent back then as Marshall and Mesa was.
Yeah.
Um, well, we were talking about other gear. I those the reissue rectifiers. I would love to have one of them
Oh, for sure.
if I didn't have to pay those prices for them.
It's insane.
$3,500. I would love to get a hold of one of those Mark II reissues. Like they sound very good.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Our first album, the one with the nun,
Hmm.
that was the Mark III that I used on that.
No shit. Okay.
It was a Mark III green stripe, and it was
Nice.
just that. I didn't use a boost or anything. It was just a guitar with an EMG straight into that, like straight Metallica style.
That's a. I mean that right there alone is an insanely tight guitar tone.
Yeah, yeah, it was very easy, but at the same time we recorded that whole record in like a day, so I
Hmm.
didn't spend a lot of time like tweaking. I was just like, "Oh, there,
Yeah.
that sounds like Metallica. Let's go."
I mean that's kind of a cool way to do it too, though. You know,
Yeah, I
like
think I think we're gonna do something where we get that album remixed for its because in 2 years it'll be 10 years old. I think we're gonna get like a remix remaster
okay.
of it because I think that record could have sounded a lot better than it did, but we just rushed it so much.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite records was like basically done in a day. Fucking SOD. You
Oh
know.
yeah. Well, okay, so but they basically did that during the anthrax spreading the disease session, so
Hmm.
they already had everything like dialed in.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So,
It still just cracks me up, and I love hearing like Billy Milano talk about going in to record, and he's like, "All right, we're done." It's like, "You mean you got like the drums are done?" And it's like, "No, everything's done." What
oh,
the
that
fuck kind of
interview with
record?
him recently was that was good, man. That interview with him recently kind of changed my opinion on him a little bit
Yeah,
because I always thought he was an asshole, but it
I
it
mean he
sounds
is.
yeah, but it sounds like maybe and
He's
I
a
don't know.
lovable asshole
I believe the things that he's saying, you know.
for sure. I've
Um,
I've heard enough stories from enough like wildly different sources that at least Scott Ian and some people back up like Charlie that they're kind of assholes or at least like not very cool with fans and like
I can't say,
yeah,
but my old band, like back in 2003, we opened for Anthrax.
no shit.
And I can tell you that it wasn't a pleasant experience, but
Hmm.
I didn't meet any of them.
It was probably just like asshole tour managers or something kind of being pushy, I'm guessing.
Well, they basically the all of the bands on the bill were not allowed to use the actual house PA.
That's a new one.
I know. I've never seen this
The
before or
fuck did you
since.
use then?
The club had to bring in a smaller PA for the opening bands,
That's wild.
and so it sounded like ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't even want the opening bands using the house PA.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it was they didn't. I don't get on bands who don't come out. Like you're on tour for that long. If you're on the bus, you're probably sleeping, catching up on sleep, or going out running
Yeah,
errands, whatever. When I was younger, I used to get really mad at bands that didn't come out and hang out in every show. And now that
sure.
I tour full time, there is nights where I'm like, the last fucking place I want to be is in a club, even if it's the greatest band in the world. It's like, I might need to go out and run errands or go somewhere and do laundry or something like that. Or I might have
Right.
drove all day and need to sleep. I don't know. But yeah, so they didn't come out or anything. But yeah, I mean that was bizarre. Like I was just like I can't believe this, and it was like a small shitty PA too.
I believe it.
It was It was probably like a $500 PA and like a giant nightclub.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's that's going up on the list. One of these days, I'll do a compilation or something of people telling stories of getting completely fucked at shows, and that'll be on
Um, we could do a whole podcast on that one.
there.
We could do a whole episode on just that.
I'm sure. Well, dude, we are nearing the end of our time. I'd like to kind of close this out with how I always do these and do sort of your personal Mount Rushmore of bands or albums for extreme music, we'll just say.
We'll just say extreme music.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Actually, Slayer, Divine Intervention, completely underrated record. Um, Sepultura, Arise,
Hell yeah.
Napalm Death, Utopia Banished, Insect Warfare, um, Morbid Angel Covenant,
Nice.
Cryptopsy, None So Vile, um, yeah, Dying Fetus, Killing on Adrenaline, Cannibal Corpse, The Bleeding, Deicide, Once Upon the Cross.
Thank you. That is my
Yeah.
favorite Deicide record.
Oh, I mean that's hands down. I think that that's their best work. The production on that album is insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Deicide,
guitar tone is so good.
fuck yeah. Deicide's like my top three, and that's my favorite record from them. So
Oh yeah, I mean they're definitely I don't know, they don't get enough love, but like to me they're kind of like a way heavier Slayer.
yeah,
Like it's still thrash, but it's death metal, and that's
for sure.
a friend of mine pointed out once. He was just like, I've noticed that the death metal that you like is basically thrash. Like, you know, like the older Cannibal Corpse stuff was still really thrashy. And then when death metal loses that thrash edge, it seems that it's I don't really like it.
Hmm. The older I've gotten, the more I've kind of gone that same way.
Yeah,
Like my favorite death record used to be Individual Thought Patterns, and over the years, it's become Spiritual Healing. Um, just as one example, Cannibal Corpse, I start off at like the Kill era and have like migrated backwards.
yeah. I think the
Um,
bleeding is just insane. Like that is such a really good record.
oh, for sure.
Um,
It's such good songwriting.
just funny you mentioned death. Individual Thought Patterns is actually my favorite death record,
Yeah,
mostly because of Andy LaRocque.
that's fair.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
a,
that I love that man's guitar playing. So,
I wish I could do some even half of the whammy bar tricks that he can do. Like
oh, same.
he just has so much finesse, and it's just so effortless too. I love I was listening to Slaughter the Soul last week, and his is it the song Cold? I think that's the one that has his solo. I'm
I
pretty
actually didn't
sure.
even know that he was on an At the Gates record.
Oh yeah. I'm
I'm not a big At the Gates guy, so I didn't know that. But that now I know what song you're talking about. Now I'm like, how did I not know that was him?
yeah, there's a video with them talking about it. It took their guitar player a year to learn how to play that solo live.
Wow.
It's like they were all like starstruck because they're all such big King Diamond and Merciful Fate fans, and they were like excited to have Andy on the record. But then it became kind of like a love hate thing when he had to actually learn how to play it.
Dude, fucking speaking of King Diamond, that Merciful Fate, we played at Psycho Las Vegas
Yeah.
at that Merciful Fate when they came
Hmm.
over. That was the best fucking show I've ever seen.
I'll go back. I can't remember which show it was, if it was that or one of the other dates they did, but like I'm a big Hank Sherman fan too.
Oh, dude, I love his playing, man.
Fuck yeah. It
He
makes me want
he
to buy another Strat so bad.
yeah, I know, right? Strats are great, man. I love Strats.
Same. But yeah, dude, I love I think I go back and listen to more Merciful Fate now than I
Yeah.
do King Diamond, but God, I love both bands so much.
I love both, but I've always been more partial to Merciful Fate. I don't know. It's mostly I don't know. It's just a little bit more,
It's like more classic heavy metal as opposed to I
a
don't know.
little thrashier kind
Yeah.
of. I don't know. There's like a little something else that Merciful Fate has that I like. It's eviler. It's like more evil.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that was, dude. That was, I was just like jaw on the floor. It was so good. His voice was so good.
Oh yeah. It's ageless.
Yeah, that goes up there as one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Fuck yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for taking the time to sit and bullshit with me. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Maybe we can have you back on whenever maybe when the new album comes out or y'all start touring on it and
Yeah,
talk
that would be
about that
great.
some. Hell yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to plug real quick before we hop off here? Any like dates coming up or something, or maybe can you talk about the new album yet? Or
What do you want to know about it?
do y'all have a release date?
No,
Okay,
it's probably going to be like January or February if I had to guess.
fair enough. Any big shows coming up?
Well, next weekend we start it's like an 8-day tour with Ghoul.
Oh, it's so fucking good. I love
Yeah,
Ghoul.
you're in what, West Virginia?
Yes, sir.
To come out to Cleveland. We're doing Cleveland on that show.
Okay. Uh, is that going to be next weekend or
It's next week sometime, I
I'll
think.
I'll I'll check out the dates for sure. If
Yeah,
I
just
line,
hit me up. Let me know. I'll get you in.
fuck yeah, sounds good, man.
Cool.
John, thank you again, and
Nope.
thank everybody for watching. Keep an
Cool,
eye
man.
out for that record, and we will see you next time.
All right, man.
Peace.
See ya.